Welcome, low ego action heroes. This is Debbie Levitt from deltacx.com. We're a full service CX and UX consultancy, and welcome to Friday's reaction stream where I react to crazy, wacky, weird stuff that you've sent in during the last week. Please note, if you're watching this sometime around October 15th, 2021. Our end of the year streaming schedule has changed because of some work that I'm in the middle of. So please do check, let's find the button, deltacx.link/events for what's coming up. Hello, Charlene and Aitan. That means because I've had to move some streams around, next Friday is going to be a micro lesson, and the Friday after that will be reaction stream. So our next one will be 2 weeks from today. Hi, Samuel. Yeah, it's happy to be Friday. I made a new graphic for the show. What do y'all think? Simple text graphics. It's DeScout show, everybody. Sometimes I buy expensive videos and sometimes I make cheapy things myself. But we're going to need that one today. Y'all know what's coming. So, in fact, today it's going to include a musical tribute. So I'm going to hope to not get a YouTube copy strike because I saw something that one of you sent in and it goes with a song. Hi, Pratik. Thanks for joining. So let me press all the right buttons and then we're going to jump right in on the things. All right, let's see if I can press the right button today. Should be this one. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so you've got the chat room, you've got me, you've got the tip jar, totally optional, but always welcome. You've got subscribe to YouTube. Come on, everybody. I want to get a few more subscribers before the end of the year, and then we're going to have a big celebration. And of course, our Slack channel. deltacx.link/join Slack. We now have over 1,000 people who joined, but probably only 100 who are truly active. But it's a really great supportive community, and we welcome your questions and opinions. All right, so for starters, someone sent me this Reddit, but it looks like the post got deleted. So it's kind of hard for me to react to a deleted post. It looks like somebody was going to present some sort of case for purposefully doing bad research. I could not think of an example of purposefully doing bad research. You might have seen my micro lesson on customer disaster journey map where I showed a disastrous customer journey map, but I don't think I would ever purposefully do bad research. So this seems to have been deleted and couldn't tell you what it says. So thanks to the person who sent it, but we're not going to be able to react to it. Next is Smashing Magazine. No thanks. This is from today. Okay, so this is hot off the presses. And it says tips and tricks for evaluating UX UI designers. So I skimmed this today because it came in today. And again, I love that y'all think I have lots of time to see all these things you send in, but especially on the day of the show. But basically, I thought this person, I skimmed this, I didn't read the whole thing. It seemed like this person made some good points. They talked about making sure you are truly evaluating the person based on their skill sets and based on the skill sets that you are planning to require them to do at your job. Yes, makes sense. Oh, thank you, Charlene. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Wow, wow, wow. Thank you very much. So I don't know if that's for the coming music or what. Hopefully my voice doesn't give out by then. I should have moved it earlier. But this person reminds you that there are different things that we're looking for. And again, my HR training says this. So quick plug, deltacx.link/HR-training is a totally free video course that I have. And it includes things like this. And they talked about what are some things you might ask people. But you know, the downside to something like this, which my training covers and this article doesn't, is what if you check the designer's work to see how the parts fit together? That might make sense to you and me and other people working in UX, but if you're being interviewed or screened by someone who's not working in UX, like an HR person, they don't know. And so I tried to write my training for the people who don't know. I mean, I felt like this article might be written for the people who know. And so the people who know should know how to assess this stuff. I did like that she included that you should be assessing people for qualities or personality characteristics or soft skills or whatever you want to call these, problem setting and strategic thinking, creativity, proactivity. I think these are good too. So all in all, I thought this, even though I only skimmed it and I know I won't agree with everything she says, I thought it was generally an okay article because it brought to light that it's a lot more than look at the portfolio and see if it's pretty. So I appreciated that. I will give her 3 dogs. Oh, that's odd. Whew. All right, next. DeScout. Okay, not sponsored. I do not use DeScout, and I actually know very little about it. So this is from the DeScout blog, I guess, and they say use private research panels for ongoing rapid customer feedback. I did not read this, but it didn't take long for me to see that it was just, hey, don't forget to do this on DeScout. And of course, we're tool agnostic, #not sponsored. So I wanted to remind everybody that we've got episode 105 with Sotiris, who told us how to set up our own private panel. You can use DeScout, you cannot use DeScout. So, up to you. But I do think it's a good idea. And look at all these pop-ups. Look at all these pop-ups, people. And this is a UX tool. Whew, I need a graphic for that. What should it say? You're talking the talk, but not walking the walk. What should it say? Pratik says, can you guide for design systems? I don't understand that question. This is the reaction stream where I'm reading stuff and reacting to it. So I'm not sure there. So ultimately, I do think, depending upon where you're working, a private panel or your own participant pool can make sense, but you don't have to use DeScout for it. So I'm for participants pools, but I may or may not agree with that article because ultimately the article is probably promoting the tool. Seth says poop emoji for the pop-ups. Yeah, I do not have a giant poop. I'm looking at I have a Surface Pro where I run my show because it's touchscreen and that's where you see me reach over and touch stuff. I do not have a giant poop. I do have a red flag warning, but yeah, we'll have to come up with something for this ain't UX, and you should know better. All right. So this is a Medium publication, and it's bootcamp.uxdesign.cc. So it seems to be some subset of UX Design's Medium. And I already have a somewhat low opinion of UX design on Medium. I believe they will publish abso-smurfly anything, no matter what quality it might be. I10 says, Debbie, weren't you working on some sort of deltacx tool, or am I dreaming? I am working on a tool, but because it's been mostly apprentice stuff and out of my pocket, it's moving slowly. I'm hoping it'll be alive next year, but no promises. But everyone working on it's doing beautiful work, so I am excited for when it will someday exist. This is, you aren't a UX designer unless you can design. And here I get to roll out my new graphic. Bitch, you're the gatekeeper. What is this shit? Anything that's like, you're not this unless this. I've interviewed people for jobs who said to me, I use design thinking. And I say, great. Now tell me about the process that you use to do your work, and just don't use the words design thinking. Find a way to describe it without those 2 words. And if they tell me a great process, fantastic. And if they tell me some terrible process, there you go. But I'm not going to say, ooh, if you use design thinking, you're not a whatever. Doesn't make sense. I10 says, it's my favorite graphic. Hi, Lily. This was, you're not a designer and all that. And I do sometimes look at people's writing styles when I respond to this. And the reality is that I don't know what his point is. I'm a product designer. I've been doing this for 5 years, and my YouTube page is flooded with people about breaking into UX design, and a designer sits on a beanbag chair and takes a 2-hour lunch. And what is this about? What is this about? I can't tell what's going on here. What was your point? Learn to design. Okay, what is your point? So obviously, I had the logical follow-up question. Oh, Seth says, I'm guessing what they mean by design is graphic design. That very often, Seth, but I don't know. But y'all know where I'm going next. Who knows where I'm going next? I'm going to take a drink of coffee. What am I going to show you next? Sorry, I should say that's decaf coffee with coconut milk. I went to his LinkedIn, y'all. Aren't you wondering who this guy is? Because he's telling you if you don't know how to design, you're not a designer, or what? Isn't that the reflexive principle? You aren't a UX designer unless you can design. Seems like the reflexive property, but let's learn more about him. He has a bachelor's in creative writing. He's working on learning German in Duolingo, and he got a UX design certificate from Google's Coursera course. And as Seth pointed out, he is an esports consultant. Is this still on the screen or not? Bitch, you're the gatekeeper. Physician, heal thyself. I think this advice is best given to this. Aitan says, who is he? Tell us. Yeah, this is who he is. So could he know something about UX? Sure. Should he be telling people who's a designer and who's not a designer? I'm going to go with no, because I'm not sure he's yet a designer, or he could be a designer. Maybe he made this graphic, then he's a fantastic artist. So yeah, Seth says boo, and I agree. All right, let's move on to this. Y'all sent me a 17-minute YouTube video. If I ever get this dressed up for a YouTube video, someone stop me. I should go and pull like my fanciest dress out of my closet and put on a ton of makeup and do my hair. They always have perfect makeup and hair. They must spend so much time on this stuff, y'all. I'm lucky. It's a good day if I've put on a bra. Maybe that's a bad day. Man, I hate wearing a bra. Ladies, who's with me? Men, who's with me? Sucks. So this is Esty, who I don't know. No idea who she is. Never heard of her. Have no opinion about her either way. But luckily for us, she's given us, what do you call these? Chapters. So I didn't watch her video. I didn't have time. Someone sent this to me today. But we can see from her chapters, thank you, Esty, what her 9 steps of UX research are. And they are plan, for sure. Market research, okay, sometimes, I'll give you that. Sometimes market research can be important. Who are the competitors? What's going on with our sales and marketing? Maybe these might be some, I didn't watch her video, so I'm guessing. Competitive analysis, okay, sometimes, but remember what Larry Marine reminds us, most competitors are doing this wrong, and we don't want to just chase after whatever they're doing. So be careful of too much competitive analysis. You're probably looking at a bunch of people also sucking. Provisional personas, y'all know I hate provisional personas. So personas are supposed to come from qualitative research, mostly observational studies and some interviews. Provisional, or what's the other word I always hear? Proto-personas are typically guessed at before we've done research. And I, of course, want to warn everybody against guessing or assuming in any form. I also can't think of a good reason to burn work time, billable work time, on guessing on what the personas might be before I've done the interviews. Because here she does provisional personas and then she does real personas. I cannot think of a good reason to do this. And I think if I were from another domain looking in on UX work, I would be like, you guess at stuff first and then you do stuff and then you redo it. That seems wasteful. That doesn't seem agile or lean. Seth says assumptive personas for sure. And I know sometimes we're stuck making those in a really bad situation, but that shouldn't be part of this complete breakfast. That shouldn't be something that I always do in my step-by-step whatever. And as we were talking about, I think here and also in Slack, and Wilson was commenting on this, though I don't see him here, was a lot of times when you go through a boot camp, you think research always looks like this. These steps in this order always make personas. And we don't always make personas. We don't always do all these things. Y'all know I'm against empathy mapping. On a good day, empathy mapping is 50% bullshit because if we did good observational research, we know what people do because we watched them. We know what people say because we listened to them. If we didn't watch them, then what they do was self-reported and could be flawed and incorrect. So that would make it 75% bullshit because what people think and feel is sometimes our guess or our interpretation. And I just want to warn everybody against being so high ego that you think that you know what someone is feeling or thinking. You can say that something appeared frustrating, but let's face it, we don't genuinely know how anybody felt, and we might not know what they're thinking. And if they told us what they're thinking, then it's now what they say. I-10 says the only good reason is that stakeholders like it sometimes for some reason. She's talking about provisional personas. Let's get into one room for 16 hours and build personas based on assumptions. But you know I'm against that. There's no good reason to do that. There's no good reason to do assumptive personas by guessing committee. That's an incredible waste of time. What did you do? Put 10 people in a room for 8 hours? What's everybody being paid? How many thousands of American dollars was that? Or tens of thousands of South African rand? Thank you, Roman. So empathy mapping can go and jump in a lake. I never do it and hope to never do it. It doesn't make sense. And again, we don't always do personas. Many of you know that very often I'm making typologies, which we've talked about a bit in the micro lessons. And of course, very often I'm doing a task analysis if this is generative research based on a task or process or decision that our customers or potential customers might make. So I'm going to give her 2 dogs here. I think I didn't watch the video, but there's probably some good stuff here. I'm assuming this isn't going to be all garbage, but there's definitely some stuff here that points to guessing, and there's some stuff that points to over-interpreting or interpolating what we think people are saying, and I'm not for that. So I would have to give this a low score. But I did notice this, and we've been talking about this lately as you've been giving me YouTube videos, which is remember that many YouTubers are putting in coded links and affiliate links for places to make money. Remember that if you are interested in something they are offering or selling, you don't have to click their link. If you feel like you don't want them to make money from it, they will tell you the company and you can go straight to that website. If you want them to, did I have the dog on the screen? If you want to support them and you want them to make that affiliate money, then of course click their link and support them. That's up to you and how you feel about the YouTuber's relationship with monetizing things and affiliates. So I just want to make sure you remember, you have that choice. Roman says, what's the dog rating? It's the first time I'm watching. Yeah, thanks for asking, Roman. So I have 5 dogs. And so as a silly thing here on the reaction stream, we do a rating of 1 to 5 dogs for certain things. 1 or 0 dogs means I think rather lowly of something, and 5 dogs would be this is absolutely amazing, but I'm not sure I've given out 5 dogs very much. Sometimes something gets 4. Very often because people want to see me rant about stuff, they send me terrible stuff, and I give it 0 or 1 dogs. I'll give her 2 dogs. There's probably some good stuff in here. I didn't watch it. I couldn't tell you where the gems really were, but I'm a little concerned about some of this process, and I wouldn't necessarily recommend that you follow all of these 9 steps. And also, I looked up Design Lab's affiliate program, just in case you're wondering. So if you clicked on her coded link and you signed up for a short course, she gets $40. And if you actually signed up for their larger academy, she gets $300. So there you go. Next was a tweet from the fantastic people who like to make fun of design thinking. So, of course, I do love them. Though I don't use Twitter, so I don't usually see these unless you send them to me. I'm just not on Twitter, really. And this comic says, oh, hey, I have a great role for you, head of product design. Interesting. Tell me more. It's the chance to be the champion for design within the company. Okay, and who will I be reporting to? The head of engineering. And the person goes and throws their phone in the ocean, I guess that is. Yeah. Just yes. I could give it 5 Dougs if you want to meet all my Dougs. But yes to this. And, we've talked about this on other shows where you want to really check before you take a job who it answers to. If you do not have a manager, if you work in UX or CX and your manager does not have at least 5, 7 or more years specialized experience in UX research, interaction design, information architecture, if they were a creative director, not good. You want to make sure your manager understands your world and can support you. So look out for that. Okay, now we're coming to the musical portion of our program. So this is a tweet from Joe Natoli, who is a scary pumpkin. And here he is doing his usual clickbait. Let's see how many people fell for it. 18 likes. And this is, now I don't know what Joe sounds like. I've never spoken to him and I don't listen to any of his videos. I could make up his voice, but I don't know. And this says, look, I certainly know all those big, I certainly know all those big words, acronyms, and terms we all use to describe UX work. But I do not ever use them with clients, as in never. Here's why. All right, who's ready for some heavy metal? Okay, so I clicked on Joe's link here. And, oh, hi, Octavio Ortega C. Yeah, thank you. And thank you for tagging me on Paul Bryan's LinkedIn post a few weeks ago. That was really sweet of you. I think that was you from memory. Okay, so Joe links to this. No, my hair is very silly. Here's Joe's post, which he links to. Cut the bullshit. It's time to end the tyranny of UX terminology. And according to this article, he feels that it is tyrannical to use terms like design ops, DevOps, design language systems, service design thinking, design systems thinking, semantic design, experience architecture, confidence intervals, etc. So first of all, when I read this list, I felt that I haven't heard many people say any of these. I wondered if he made them up for comedy, like polyhierarchies. I've never heard anyone say in my life, and I'm going to be 50 soon. Humane product design, I haven't heard yet, but it sounds like something we should do. User assistance design also sounds like accessibility, so it could be important. Machine ethnography sounds like a joke. Confidence intervals is really important to statistical analysis. In fact, many Nielsen-Norman Group articles where they do quantitative studies, they mention the confidence interval. So a confidence interval is important when you are doing qualitative data and statistical analysis on it. In general, my thought on terminology is if you are going to use a term that's not that familiar to your audience, take the 3 seconds it will take and explain it. A confidence interval indicates the amount of confidence we have in our statistic. I believe the typical confidence interval is 90%, leaves a little margin for error. I think that it's okay for us to use our own terms because all other domains are using their terms. Product management has terms, engineering has terms, marketing has terms, printing vinyl signs has terms. Every domain has terms. Why don't we help people feel included in that by cluing them into what design ops is, rather than acting like these are words you can never say? Now, this doesn't have a date on it, so I don't know when this is from. So I don't know if it's a ripoff of the article I saw on Medium a couple of years ago or what. But I'd like to talk for a moment about the word tyranny. And I think that as we decolonialize our language, we're going to have to be a little bit more sensitive to the inflammatory speech that is often used to make a point. Many of us have stopped saying, oh, I slaved all day at my job. Hey, some of us, most of us have, if you're watching this, many of us have no idea what it's like to actually be a slave, and we can't begin to understand those people's words and the privilege we have to use a term so lightly. There are many of you who have lived and are living and will live under actual tyranny. And for that, I think that we have to be careful of inflammatory speech. I think that we should not throw around words that are related to wars and to injustices and to abuses and to slavery and to these things, because these words mean something different for some of the audience. And even some of you out there right now are living in places where you have lived or currently live under actual tyranny. So I think that this is an example of privilege, and this is something I don't even want to do by accident. I have done a couple of these things by accident, and I've tried to apologize immediately. I'm trying to get this out of my speech, and I think we have to be more sensitive to other people. And on that note, I was going to sing a heavy metal song about tyranny, but now I feel like I might just want to leave this where it is, because I'd rather be sensitive about this than start singing a heavy metal song. But maybe at the end, we'll throw in the heavy metal song once we've rebounded from the emotional weight of what I'm trying to talk about. Because UX terminology is not tyranny. Not even close. Joe, why? Why? But we're not done, because it's Joe again. Someone sent me this. What if I don't have enough knowledge or experience or skill to do this? Do it anyway. I assume this is part of Joe's fake it until you make it bucket, and it got a few more likes than the last one. Though I liked this one. Fall and figure it out on the way down. Except in that picture, that would end horribly. That's true. If this person doesn't have the knowledge or experience or skill to do this and does that anyway, ouch, ouch, could be fatal. So yeah, or I don't know. Yeah, figure it out along the way. And why are people convincing people not to do things? And again, yeah, Joe, what can I say about Joe? And of course, this links to his blog, where the blog post is mostly meaningless and he just wants you to see the ads on the side for the things he's selling. So, Joe, I made this graphic for him. We'll put it up again. All right, let's move on. I10 says, imagine lawyers figuring it out on the way. I know. If we're figuring it out on the way, then I guess our work is just so easy. Anybody can fake it until they make it. Thanks, Joe. UX Collective, again, generally low opinion on the uxdesign.cc universe. This says how collecting metadata can yield better research insights. And I think the comment that came with this was something like, isn't this what we're already doing? Probably. And I skimmed through this, and basically this person was showing how you, as you are taking notes for your research, you can tag stuff based on how you would associate it with maybe a pattern or a theme or what they're calling metadata. And they show a screenshot here from Optimal Workshops Reframer, not sponsored. And how good it is to tag this stuff, because then you can either count tags, and I haven't found counting tags that important, because that's really just a matter of how many times you decided to tag something. Is something positive, negative, pain point, confusion, frustration, concern, etc. And I recommend for tags, think more about Larry Marine's task analysis. Are you looking at a tool? Are you looking at knowledge? Are you looking at a workaround? Are you looking at an obstacle, etc.? I'm not sure want, need, or suggestion are helpful, but I do tag things as quote if I want to remember to come back later and get a quote for the report. Thank you, Byron. Yeah, this seems to be what some of us are already doing. Some of us might not be, but again, if you are either taking notes or highlighting a transcript, you can certainly make up your own metadata so that you can easily start organizing things and tagging them. And I think we did a show on this in the Micro Lessons playlist on YouTube, so look there. All right, what's here? Okay, someone sent me this job. User researcher data. Monzo Bank. Do not know them. Now, as soon as I see user researcher and data, I don't imagine that this is a qualitative research job. I don't imagine that you're necessarily interviewing people. I imagine you are mostly dealing with quantitative stuff. I imagine they're going to want a data scientist and all the data scientist stuff, maybe Python, SQL. They might want statistical analysis. They might want Google Analytics. So I don't expect this to be a user researcher the way you and I are thinking of it. The word data sends me to another place. What you'll do: build new systems that help us understand user experience. You'll identify metrics to measuring the usability. So metrics, measuring metrics, data. Identify root causes of wider customer experience issues. Brand insights, app reviews, satisfaction ratings, and customer service data. So again, they're assuming that you're going to find root causes of unhappy customers through existing data, like app reviews and customer support tickets. Right. So, and then of course all the other stuff that I thought, Python, SQL. So I think that that these jobs are good. And if you read my book, you know that eventually I believe that a UX team should have one of these people and a bunch of qualitative researchers as well. And that way we can put together a larger picture. This is some of the type of research that some people calling themselves CX often do. So I think there's a place for a very data heavy, quantitative, statistics analytical a job. But again, when it says user researcher, some of y'all are thinking of something else, and this isn't going to match up. But this is a thing, and I'm seeing it mostly called quantitative researcher or quantitative user researcher, and I'm seeing that title more and more at FANG companies. So yeah, this is a thing, and I think it'll be more of a thing. And I think if we can bring it into UX, then I'm hoping eventually we might even do some behavioral modeling. All right, this is measuringu.com, who seems familiar, but I'm not into. And this is, do all people use all available response options? And I think the person who sent it in said, if this is too long to read, you can just go to the end. So I skimmed through it, and it looked like they were trying to figure out how people react to scoring systems when they're given a 5-point choice, like on a scale of 1 to 5, what do you think of this? Or a scale of 1 to 7, what do you think of this? Or rate this 1 to 10 or 0 to 10. And I think they ended up saying at the end that these people claim that respondents won't use all options when presented with more than 5 or 7 points, and suggest that researchers use fewer in rating scales. So let's just stop there. When I think about rating scales in surveys, and I do sometimes run surveys and I do sometimes use rating scales, then we would have to ask ourselves, how much color are we expecting people to give? So for example, on a scale of 1 to 5, 1's terrible, 3's medium, 5's great. We've got 2 for kind of and we've got 4 for kind of good. And now we've got a scale of 1 to 7. We've got our 2 endpoints and our medium point. Now we've got 2 in the middle for and kind of good. What's the difference between a 2 and a 3 here? You know, when do you give something a 2 versus when do you give something a 3? Do you really need that color or granularity in your scale? And then, of course, on a scale of 1 to 10, you've got 1, you've got 10. Now, what's in the middle? 5.5, 4.5? That gets messy. So some people do 0 to 10. So that 5 is a clear midpoint. And you've got 1 to 4, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I would ask you, before you make a rating scale, how much color do you think you need between endpoints and midpoints? And do you think your audience thinks in that much color or granularity? Is it enough to do a 5-point and learn that some people feel each point of the 5. Does that make sense? Y'all know what I'm saying? So this is interesting that these people seem to feel that there's some sort of data that shows that more than 7, and it's just starting to be meh for people. And I think so too. Sometimes I see a scale of 0 to 10 and I'm like, is it a 6? Is it a 7? I always love when you give people a scale up to 10 and they're like 7.5, and you're like, there's already so many numbers here. Why don't we just give you 0 to 100? Just grab a number. Eileen says, measuring you is Jeff Sorrow. I know that's what it says at the top, but I don't know who that is. Should I know who that is? Is that someone I don't like and you're trying to tell me? Is this someone on my poop list and I don't know? I don't know who it is. We could look him up on LinkedIn. Should I know who this is? Ah. Oh my God. I cannot type. Jeff Sorrow, principal at Measuring You. He's got a crispy shirt. No, I don't think I know him. Oh, Eileen says, I love his work. Oh, okay. I was like, is this someone I don't like? Is this someone I've said something about before? I really don't know him. Well, he's got a positive vote from Eileen, and I like Eileen, so maybe we should get to know him more. Anyway, that seemed like a decent article. So, yeah, everybody, just, think more closely about some of your scales. You probably don't need more than 7, and maybe you don't even need 7. All right, I got sent this job probably because I posted this job, I think, to the Slack channel. Was this the one I posted? I think I posted it in Italian, and now someone's posting it in English. This is a job for junior UX researcher on site in Turin, Italy. So I'm not going, and neither are you. Now, of course, before we look at it, a junior researcher. Certainly, I'm hoping for under 2 years of experience, hopefully only 1, and I'm hoping that it'll be research and not design or coding or some of these other things. So let's see. Roman says, do you have a Slack channel? Yes, we do. We have a Slack workspace. It's free to join, deltacx.link/join Slack. And of course, please subscribe on YouTube and tell a few friends about the YouTube channel. And also when people put emojis in the YouTube channel, they bounce all over the screen. So it's a little interactive here. 2 years experience design, managing or executing primary research studies, quantitative. Experience with qualitative and user-centered design, working with web analysts, product analysts, working with product marketing or content, analytic and critical things, fluent English, knowledge of Google Analytics, wireframe design, and HTML, CSS. Right. So we really don't get UX. We hear you guys talk to people and make things and run surveys. So we want to make sure you do all of that. So no, not going to work. For me, I don't recommend this, but if you happen to have all those skills, go right ahead. 35 people applied. They may have already found someone. Okay, this is I think this is our last one. This is from, again, the Bootcamp publication at UX Design, which is UX Collective, which, again, seems to publish anything. Job interview, questions to ask your hiring manager. Now, we just did this on the show. Remember, if you are ever wondering if we have a show on these things, go and type words. DeltaCX interviews. Here I am on YouTube, not signed in. This is me live now. Don't forget to join me now doing this. This was a great one with Julia, episode 129, questions to ask during interviews. This was me reminding you I've got scheduling changes going on, an old one about portfolios, job interview challenges. So remember, if you ever have a question about something, try going to YouTube and typing DeltaCX and then one or more words, whatever those are, interviews, portfolios, design thinking, research, and we'll have lots of stuff there because I do have over 400 videos on the channel since we've been broadcasting for 2 years now. So do check it out. Okay, so questions that this person thinks you should ask the interviewer. What attributes does someone need to have to be successful in this position? Okay. What will they say? I don't ask things like that because I always assume they're going to say things that I expect to hear. Oh, critical thinker and self-motivated. And it's like, whatever. What types of skills are the team missing that you're looking to fill with a new hire? Again, the team might not be missing skills, so that sounds presumptive. They might just be growing the team, and it's not that the team's missing skills, it's that we need more people who do this thing. I probably wouldn't ask that. What are the biggest challenges someone in this position would face? You could ask that, but I bet you're not going to get the truth. Do you expect the primary responsibilities for this position to change in the next 6 months to a year? I think people don't know that. I think those changes are sometimes surprised. Where have successful employees previously in this position progressed to? Well, they might have progressed right out of the company, but you can try that one. What are the most important things you'd like to see someone accomplish in 30, 60, 90 days? I think that can be an okay one. What's your favorite part about working here? Okay. Common career paths, that seems like a bit of a repeat about where successful employees progress to, so maybe just ask that one if you care about career progression and growth opportunities. Can you tell me about your new products or plans for growth? I would never, ever ask that. There is no way most companies will tell you what new products they're working on. Are you serious? Where do you see this team in the next few years? I think it's hard to look at something like that in the next few years. It's hard to know. Even with the pandemic now, we don't know what's going to happen in the next few years. So really hard for people to predict the future. What are the current goals that the company is focused on, and how does this team work, probably 2 words, to support hitting those goals? You could ask that, but again, I think it's going to tie too closely to internal confidential information about company strategies and products. What gets you most excited about the company's future? You could ask. I don't know if you'll get the truth. So again, I would say just think critically about questions like these. Some of them aren't too bad, but I wouldn't bother asking many of them because I would be concerned that I'm not going to get honesty anyway. What's the company and team culture like? Peeps, I can tell you, I don't think anyone tells the truth about that. Oh yeah, we're a fun team. We work hard. We play hard. We've got lots of camaraderie. We have fun. We eat avocados. It could still be a really shitty place to work. Even if those things were true, it can be a shitty place to work. Those could be true, and then there could be other problems. So again, I try not to ask anything that doesn't have a good likelihood of an honest answer. And I think some things here are just unlikely to be honest answers. What can I tell you? What will prevent you from hiring me? Is that here, or is that a question you want to ask? Prevent. No, it's a question you want to ask. I try to turn that one around, and sometimes I say like, so here they say, is there anything else I can provide you that would be helpful? Can I answer final questions? Anything that concerns you about my background being a fit? I'll normally ask something along those lines, like, is there anything I can tell you about my approaches or experience that would help you make a decision about me? So that's sometimes the question to the interview. That's sometimes the way I phrase it, because ultimately they're going to make a decision about me. Is there anything that I can say that will feed into that? So yeah, so I think that's. Let's see, what number should I press? I can't tell. I'm going to press all the wrong numbers. No, I can press merge. Hold on. Merge. All right. Hello, it's just me. That's everything. That's all the ones that I got up until today. If you sent me something during the show, I do not look at things live. I like to have them prepped, and I usually skim them, and that way I'm not surprised later. Oh no, why is my dog way out in the hills? Oh, I hope there hasn't been an escape. I'm going to be wrapping up the show soon and going outside with my headlamp to see if my dogs have escaped. You can, of course, follow that on my dog Instagram. Any last thoughts or questions from our live audience before we move on? Just a reminder, as I said, because of a current contract job I'm working, my availability is not the same as it used to be. I've had to cancel a lot of our normal weekday shows. We normally go live 4 times a week with all kinds of different fresh content. But I don't have that available right now. Seth says, I see on the interview questions there's no discussion about money. Yes, what does this pay is a great one. So just an update for people. The next week there's only going to be 2 streams. There's going to be a Tuesday early office hours at 10 a.m. Italy time. Some of you will be sleeping. And there's going to be, instead of a Friday reaction stream, a Friday micro lesson. I'm going to talk about how I plan and manage projects. And have a great weekend, I-10. The week after that, Monday the 25th, I'm going to do another early office hours because my usual times are not available because of this current contract job. So I'm going to do a 10 a.m. office hours on the 26th. That's Italy time. And Wednesday, we're still going to do the micro lesson with Larry Marine. I'm going to try to not move that one. Wednesday, the 27th, micro lesson with Larry Marine on knowledge design at the usual time, 6:30 p.m. Italy time. Let's see. And then Friday the 29th, reaction stream. So 2 weeks from today will be the next reaction stream in case you want to send something in. And then we're in November, and I've had to move and cancel a lot of those also. So we're going to have November 5th. We've moved to November 5th, the next panel discussion on the realities of UX work. And that's going to have Sophie and Solomon and Julia Denoto. Not Julia DeBari. That's Friday the 5th of November. Wednesday the 10th, Slack video networking. Sorry, I was only able to go for a half hour the other day. Friday the 12th of November, we've moved Three Musketeers office hours to Friday, November 12th. It is not Tuesday. It is Friday the 12th from 6:30 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. Italy time. I'm going to do that come hell or high water because I can't put that off too much. But again, a lot of these had to change or be canceled because of my current contract job. So again, please check deltacx.link/events. That always has the updated calendar of where I've moved everything to. And then I'm taking a 2-week vacation in November and December and might not broadcast much from that. So there you go. Yeah, Seth says, I ask what the budget is for the role. If they don't have a straight answer, I'm out of there. Wilson says, yeah, I lost by asking that too, but got pressured into giving a number. Yeah, I usually say, like, look, you wouldn't have created this job if you didn't have at least a range. Nobody created a job and did not budget for what they were going to pay. Please at least give me a range. And I'm probably on the high end of your range, but there you go. Yeah, Seth says HR dirty tricks, and he's right. So I'm going to go put on a headlamp and go see what I can see. Let's press the go live button on Olivia the dog and see where she is, because I don't like the looks of this and it's dark out. Everybody, please be well, be safe and be well. Put filters in your masks and have a super weekend. I will catch everybody maybe Tuesday morning, but whenever you join, thank you for joining and thank you for being a part of this. It's always the highlight of my week. Every stream is the highlight of my day, and I'm sorry to have canceled and rescheduled so many, but hey, contract work. It says my dog is back on the premises, and it says my dog is possibly in my boyfriend's mom's house. So I will go see where she, oh no, now it says it's on her, she's on her front stoop. All right, I'm going to go there and bring the dog home. Thanks to everybody, and see everybody in the Slack channel, and thanks for all of your help and support of me and of each other in the Slack workspace. See y'all. Be well, Seth. I've enjoyed your posts about your vacation, and I look forward to hearing what's going on with your new job. Good night, everybody. Catch you later. Bye. Customer centricity as business intelligence. Visit deltacx.com to learn why we are